Okay, so in the last session, we discussed about applications in Salesforce, objects in Salesforce, different types of objects, right? So in today's session, we are going to see how we can create applications and objects in Salesforce. But before that, I would like to ask you some questions, okay? Just to check your knowledge. That's it. Okay, so my first question is, what is application in Salesforce?
Applications contain, it's like a container for all the
Mhm.
tabs and the logo and all that, the files and all.
Okay, right. It acts as a container where we can add tabs, logos, and name, right? Okay. Now, second question is, what is object in Salesforce?
It's a database
Mm-hmm.
of fields and columns
Mm-hmm.
where we can store the data of the customer or an organization.
Mm-hmm. And what are the different types of object?
Custom
Contacts,
object.
leads,
Sorry, could you
Standard and
please
custom.
come again? Yes, standard and custom. Right. And what happens, when we convert a lead in Salesforce?
it becomes an contact
Mm-hmm.
or account after
Contact.
that opportunity.
Yes. Right, correct. Okay then. Let me share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, are you able to see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so today we will see how we can create applications in Salesforce. Okay, so in the last session, we have discussed about what is application, what are the different types of application, right? So today we are going to create a custom application. So as you have understood now, there are some standard applications which are provided by Salesforce, and we have also custom applications which we can build to meet the specific business needs or requirement of the application. Okay, so all the standard applications which we have, if our requirement is not fulfilled by those applications, then in that case we can create custom application. Okay, so we are going to create a custom application called recruiting app, and then under that application, we will also create objects like position, candidate object, then job application, job posting, okay, employment website. And then what we will do, we will add all these object tab in the application, in that custom application. Okay, so let's try to create the application. So for that, let's say if you are already on this page, that means you are already on the setup page. If you are in application, okay, let's say if you are on this application, then you will have to go to the setup. So what I did, I just simply clicked on the setup here, then clicked on setup. That's it. And Salesforce automatically opens the setup page on a new tab. Okay, here, like this. Now in the quick find box, you have to enter app. Okay, app, or let's say app manager, and click on app manager. Okay, now here we have this button called new lightning app. Click on that. Okay, now here we'll have to provide some details about the application. So first is app name, developer name, it will automatically take. Then description, then logo. If you want to add a logo, then you can also add it, but right now we are not adding any logo. We are just simply seeing, we just want to create an application. Later on, if you want to add any logo, you can add it. Okay, so here I will give the name as recruiting. Okay, you can enter the description as well. And additionally, if you want to upload a logo, you can upload it. Okay, I'm not going to upload any logo as of now. I'm just going to fill up the details about the app name. And developer name is something which we can say that it's a unique name in Salesforce. And when we enter the app name, okay, Salesforce automatically takes the developer name. You can here as well search for the help text if you are not understanding any field. Okay, this I means help text. Okay, which helps you to understand what this field means. Next. Okay, now here we have navigation factor. First is standard navigation, and second is console navigation. Okay, so standard navigation means the sales application which we have, right? That is our standard navigation. And console navigation is basically used for in the service-based companies or service-based organizations. For example, let's say you want to create, let's say your company is providing services to their customers. For example, let's just take the example of Salesforce. Okay, now Salesforce also provide customer support. Okay, so like this, if you are providing this kind of services to the customer, okay, there you can use console navigation. Let me open the console. See, it says service console. Okay, I'm going to open the service console in the next tab. Okay, here I have sales, which is a standard navigation, and here I have service console. Okay, can you see the difference? Can you tell me what is the difference between console and sales? Just look at this view and this view. Okay.
Only one tab only that is related to the keys.
No, so we can say, see, tabs are already added here, tabs are also added here, but here we cannot see tabs like this. Okay, we have to click on the drop down button, which is a navigation menu. Okay, and then we can select tabs. For example, right now it's cases. Let's go to contacts. Let's go to accounts. This is a console navigation, and this is basically used for in the service-based organization. So majorly in all the organizations or all the industries use standard navigation. Okay, console navigation used only where the organization is providing any services to the companies. For example, when let's say you are facing some issues, while logging in Salesforce, what you will do, you will reach out to the Salesforce support, right? And that Salesforce, you will receive a call from Salesforce agent, support agent, and he or she will resolve your issue, right? So resolving tickets, cases, issues, this all comes under service base. So there they use console navigation, but usually in all the industries, standard navigation use. I hope you have understood this difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have selected here as standard navigation. Okay. Supported form factor is whether you want to support this application only for desktop or only for phone or desktop as well as phone. So by default, it is selected for desktop as well as phone. Okay, that's it. Now I am going to click on next. Okay. Here you can add utility item. For example, let's go here. Okay, as you can see, this is the bar we get when we add some utility items here. For example, let's say that your organization has purchased some third-party application, let's say for calling, okay, or let's say 8x8 integration. Okay, so when you add that particular utility, okay, that will show on this bar. And this is not this is not only for console based application, this is also for standard navigation as well. As of now, we don't see here anything, but if we add any utility item, we will see kind of this bar. Let me show you. Let's click on add utility. Okay, here we have history right now, then we have different now this is the standard which Salesforce has provided. Now let's say if we have any calling application, as you can see, open CTI software. This is also for make or receive calls. Let's try to add this. So here we have to add this. This is the panel width, for example, this one. Okay, when we click on when we hover over, you can see. So if we add, let's say 2 to 3 utility items here, it will gonna show up. Okay, so now if I select history, then it will show. Okay, right now I don't want to add any utility item, but as you can see on this picture, it also shows the same. Here we have phone icon, here we have different icon, here we have clock icon, and here we have notes icon. It's like a shortcut for your user. They can just quickly simply click on that. Let's say you have added notes here, they can click on that and they can type their notes. They can click on that and they can call the customer. Okay, so right now I am not adding any utility bar here, and click on next. Okay, now here this is the important topic for application or app creation, adding navigation items. Navigation item meaning you can see this bar. Okay, this bar is called navigation bar, navigation menu, and there we can add multiple tabs. Okay, so let's say if I want account, now we have not created any custom objects, so you won't be able to, we won't be able to add custom objects there. Okay, so let's say let's try to add account. Okay, I have added account. Next, and here we have to give the access to the profile. My profile is system admin, standard system admin. and yours also is under system admin. So when you go to the sign up page for any developer org and enter your details and create your new org, Salesforce automatically creates your profile as system administrator. Okay, now I will select only system admin here as of now, so that other user for other profiles will not have access to the Lightning application. Okay, and they won't be able to see that particular application here in the app launcher. Only I will be able to see this. Now click on save and finish. Okay, as you can see, we have successfully created our Lightning application. Okay, now let's go to the app launcher, and as you can see, we are able to access this recruiting application. I will click on the recruiting application, and now I am also able to access the accounts. Okay, so in this way we can create application. Now later on I will remove this particular object from the recruiting application, because what we want is we want to only add our custom objects for the recruiting application. Okay, we will not going to have this account for the recruiting application. So we are going to create the custom object called position as well as the candidate object, and then we will add that in the recruiting application. But this I have added just for to give you the demo how we can create any application and how we can add any object tabs over there. Have you understood this? Any questions?
I'm good, Abrapali.
Okay. Anyone?
No.
Okay. Okay, no problem then. We will start by creating objects. Okay. So for object as well, you'll have to follow the same steps. Okay. For any settings you want to access, or you want to, let's say, go to that particular setting, we have only one setting option over there. Okay, right? So you have to click on setup here, this one beside the bell icon, and then click on setup. Now, in order to create new object, we will have to create object manager. And if you want to access other setting, then you will have to you can access that from this setup menu, or you can just simply quickly type in the quick find box. Okay, so now we want to create the object for position object. Okay, first object which we will create is position object, and position object we are creating to track all the positions. Okay, track all the positions, or we can say all stages of the process, right? Whether the position is been filled or cancelled. Okay, so we will create a position object, and then we will create candidate object as well. Candidate object is for to track all of the candidate who is applying for a particular position, right? Including their status, we can see on the candidate object. So position means, let's say if we have any a position open for Salesforce admin, okay, on GuruSchools. Then on the position object, we will create a record stating that we are looking for Salesforce admins, for GuruSchools organization. And candidate object means if you are applying for that particular position, let's say Swapna is applying or Divya is applying, okay, so then we will create that candidate's detailed information by entering in the candidate object. So a candidate record will get created. I hope you have understood why we are creating position object and candidate object. If you have any questions, okay, then you can ask us. Okay, so now let's see how we can create a custom object in Salesforce. You'll have to click on Object Manager. Once you click on Object Manager, you will be able to access all the objects in Salesforce, standard as well as custom object. Okay, and standard objects are all provided by Salesforce itself. Now we are going to create a first custom object called position. Okay, so for that, what you'll have to do is just click on Object Manager, then simply click on Create button. Okay, once you click on Create button, there is a drop down, then click on Custom Object. Okay, now here we'll have to enter all the details for a position object. So let's give the label as position. Okay, object name is a developer name, or we can say API name as well. Okay, which will be unique, and on the basis of developer name or API name, okay, we can like do what I just give me a moment. It's like let's say if you are creating any automations or anything like that, okay, the label is just to for view, okay, but object name is something, you know, using object name we can create, I mean we can access that particular object. So later on I will show you how we can use that for creating any automations on everything. Okay, so right now I have entered label and the developer name, object name. Salesforce has automatically taken. Here we have to give the plural label. Okay, plural label is for to show the tabs here. As you can see, we have account object, but as we can see here on the tab, it says that accounts. Okay, so I'm going to enter here as positions. Now, description. Description we will add as this object stores information about open job position at a company. Okay. Are you guys able to say it or not? Okay. Okay. Now, record name, Salesforce has already taken as position name, and data type is text. Okay. We will click on allow reports, allow activities, track fields history. Okay, meaning that we are like enabling this particular objects for reports, activities, and tracking field history, so that later on, let's say if we want to create any report for this particular object, for position object, we will be able to create it. Otherwise, even if the position object is there, or let's say records are in the position object, but when you go to the report section, okay, you won't be able to see any kind of reports for this custom object position, I mean the data report type. Okay, so we are going to, that's the reason we are allowing right now reports. Okay, all the sharing is all the setting, rest setting is seen. The deployment status should be deployed, not in deployment. Okay, let's say you are working as an admin, then you can give the status as in development. so that when you work on this object, then you test this and everything is fine, then you can make this the status of this particular object is deployed, so that all the users will have will be able to see this particular custom object. Otherwise, if it is in deployment, they won't be able to see it. Okay. Now I will select here as allow search, and the last section is this one, object creation options available only when custom object is first created. First is add notes and attachment related list to the default page layout. This setting meaning that if I go to any account here, we have this related list. Okay, so this is the notes and attachment section where we can upload the file. Okay, if we do not select this particular checkbox, then later on we cannot enable it. Okay, this setting is only available when we are creating any custom object for the first time. Okay, if we are editing any custom object, then that time this will not appear. Okay, so that's the reason I'm going to select this as add notes and attachment. And second one is launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. Now this setting is something like that. We can launch a new custom tab from here itself, or let's say if we just save this particular object, then we can create a custom tab as well. Okay, tab meaning that like this one, accounts tab. Okay, so we are launching position tab. If you do not create this particular position tab, okay, and let's say if you did not selected this and if you did not create any custom tab as well, then you won't be able to add the position object here. Okay, because it will not appear in the navigation available navigation items. Okay, so I will select here as launch new custom tab wizard. Okay, and click on save. Okay, now it automatically redirects to create a custom tab for position object. So here object is already selected as position. We have to give the custom style. So now I have clicked on magnifying glass and this particular custom style is up here. Okay, I have selected, let's say, this one, laptop. Well, it doesn't matter because in Lightning, it doesn't show the custom style. This is only for Classic. But as this is required field, we have to give any custom style. Okay, and that's it. You can enter the short description as well. Let's say for example, this tab is for accessing position records. Okay, something like that.
Amrapali,
Mhm.
what is a splash page custom link?
Honestly, I'm not sure about it. This is something I have never used, so I'll have to check that.
Okay.
Okay, now I will click on next. Okay, here we have to give the tab visibility to all the profiles. Okay, so do you remember in the last session we have seen this? I mean, we have discussed about the tab visibility. Do you guys remember default on, default off?
Yes, on a notepad you just showed that.
Yes, yes, right. So here we can see now. Now we are creating a custom tab for position. Okay. So now here we have to set that which profile will have access to the position tab. If I select the second option, apply a different tab visibility for each profile, meaning that I can like provide the access to different kinds of access to different profile. Let's say for system administrator, I want default on. Let's say for standard user, I want default off. Let's say standard platform user, I want the hidden tab. Okay, so I can do this. Otherwise, if I select the first option, means apply this one tab visibility for all the profiles. Okay, for all the profiles, and from here we can select either default on, default off, and or tab hidden. So if I select here as default on, sorry, then that means all the profiles will have access. Default off, in default off as well, profiles will have access to the position tab. And if I select as tab hidden, then no one will be able to see this particular tab or access this tab. Okay, so as of now, I'm going to select it as default on. That's it for all the profile. Click on next. Now, it also gives us the choice whether you want to add this particular tab in any custom application or not. Okay, so here let's say I am not changing any any settings here. Let's say if I uncheck this one, that means this particular tab is we are not adding on any application. Or if we are checking this checkbox, means we are adding this particular tab on all of the applications. Okay, otherwise if we uncheck this, then we can select one by one as well. Okay, so right now I will not select this one and click on save. Now this tab is created. This tab is created, okay, and as well as the object is also created. Now, if you check the object settings for position, here we have different types of settings. For example, the first option is for details, okay, where we can see all the information which we have filled in while creating a position object. For example, API name, meaning developer name, whether it is custom or not, the singular label, plural label, which type of settings we have enabled, okay, what is the status of deployment, okay, deployment status, and the description as well. Now, whenever you want to access any settings for any object, you will have to go to the object manager, search for that particular object and click on that object. Okay, so you will be able to access the other settings. So next setting is fields and relationship. We are going to see what is fields and relationship, but before that, what we will do is we will add this position tab in the recruiting application. Okay, now in the recruiting application we have added accounts tab. So let's go to setup. I will remove the accounts tab now and will add the position tab. Search for app manager. Click on app manager. And then search for the application which is recruiting. Okay, Now you'll have to click on this drop down button, okay, and click on edit. Okay, now we can edit the application settings. Okay, so I will directly jump to the navigation item and I will remove the accounts tab from here and search for position tab. Add this position tab and save. Okay. Now let's go to the recruiting application and refresh the page. Okay, now as you can see, this was open, that's the reason. Okay, now as you can see, position tab is successfully added and we are also able to see the position under the recruiting application. Okay, any question till here?
No.
So you have understood, right, how we can create any application and how we can create any object in Salesforce, custom object, and how we can add any object tabs in the recruiting in the custom applications, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we will give you an assignment for this as well, creating application, creating objects, and creating fields as well. Okay. So yeah, we have completed applications and object. Now let's try to understand fields. Okay, what are the different data types of fields and how we can create it? Or do you want me to cover this topic in next session?
You can continue.
Okay, great. Yeah. So for that, fields, anyone can tell me what is fields in Salesforce?
The columns.
Right. It's a database column where we can add values for that particular column or fields. Okay. So fields as well, we have like two different types of fields. One is standard fields and the second is custom fields, right? Standard fields means Salesforce by default provide few fields with like standard objects, and those are called standard fields. And when we create a custom object, at that time also Salesforce automatically creates some fields. Okay, so if you go in here, fields and relationship and click on that, you will be able to see that now we have created this position object. We did not create any kind of field. Still we can see 4 fields here, which is position name, owner, created by, and last modified by. So these are all standard fields. Okay, Salesforce has automatically created while creating the position object. Position name we have given right there while creating the object, and the data type for that position is text. We can add up to 80 characters there. Then owner field, by default, when we create any records, okay, let's say I'm creating any record, then I will be the owner of that record as well. So this field is also created by Salesforce, and this is the created by last modified by, which shows who has created this particular record and who has last modified this record. Okay. Now we cannot delete, Salesforce standard field. As you can see here, created by, modified by, owner. Can you see here any drop down button? Here also we have drop down button, but we don't have any option to delete it. Okay, we have only option to edit it. Okay, we can edit this particular field, but we cannot delete this field. Okay, because these are standard fields, so we cannot delete standard fields. We can only delete the custom fields, which we have created. Okay, and let's say if you want to change the label name of the standard field, then that is also possible. You can do that. Okay, so The custom field which we create, or let's say the fields which are created by us, those fields only we can delete in Salesforce. Now we will try creating fields in Salesforce, and we will see what is the path for creating fields in Salesforce standard object and what are different data types. Okay, so let's say I want to create custom fields for position object. So for that, we have to go to the object manager, click on fields and relationship. Okay, now we'll have to click on this new button. Once you click on this new button, Salesforce will opens a different page for asking data type. For example, here we have auto number. Auto number means system generated number. Okay, it's in a sequential manner. Okay, and this particular auto number is it will automatically like generate the number and automatically in incremented for each record. For example, if you have created a record, a new record, and the system has created number 1, then when the next record you will create, it will have number 2, number 3, number 4, like that. Okay, so here we have a complete list of all the data types, which using which we can create different types of columns here, and also the description as well. For example, if I scroll down and if I check for the text field, it says that allow users to enter any combination of letters and numbers. Okay, now let's say text area. It says that this is also a text field, but we can only enter up to 255 characters. For text, we have 80 characters. For text long, we have these many characters. Okay. Now, let's say if we want to create a field where we want to store the URL, for example, let's go to the sales application and accounts tab. Okay, so here on this particular account, we have a website field, right? This is a URL field where we have enter URL. If I click on that, then it will automatically open that particular URL. Okay, so in this way we can create URL field, and where we can only store URLs, for example, website address, or let's say any other address, for the website. Then we have let's say phone number, where we can add only numbers. Let's go to the account record once again and check for phone. So here I have added only numbers. Okay? I cannot add here as text. Let's say if I added 366, then 2222700. Okay, not 0, but as the alphabet O. We cannot do that. Okay, I'm using this. This is only to store the numbers. Okay, similarly, we have created for fax as well using the phone number field. Then we have a number field as well, where we can store the number value. Okay, then we have currency field as well. Here, as you can see, currency, where we can add currencies. As you can see here, it shows it shows the dollar amount. Okay, date time field. Then we have email field as well, where we can enter email address. Now you will see the email address field on any related contact here. As you can see, we have here as email field. Okay, and these are all the data types which are provided by Salesforce. Okay, and using this data type, we can create any type of field. Now we have these two fields in order to create a relationship, but we are going to see later on. Okay, we are not going to talk about it. Then we have here Picklist field and Picklist multi-select field. So let me tell you about Picklist field. Picklist field means any drop-down field, okay, you want to create in Salesforce. For example, here we have a rating field. If I click on edit, okay, it gives me the drop-down field. Okay, so we use Picklist in order to create a drop-down field, and it will be only a single selection. Okay, we cannot select multiple values from here. Either we can select hot, either we can select warm or cold. Okay, single value at a time. So Picklist is basically used to create drop down fields where we can select a single value. And then we have Picklist multi-select field, meaning that this is also the drop-down field, or we can say using Picklist multi-select, we can select multiple values at a time. We don't see any field as of created, but later on we can try creating a multi-select Picklist field. Okay, any questions on that for data type?
No.
Okay, now let's try to create a custom field for position object. So first field which we are going to create is status. Okay, and status can be anything. For example, new position, or pending approval, or closed, or closed cancel, closed fill, something like that. Okay, so can anyone tell me which type of data type I should select here and why? Yeah, so we want to create a status field which will have multiple values in it. For example, new position or pending approval, and open approve, let's say closed, cancel, something like that. Okay, so we want to create a field which will have multiple values. Okay, and we want to select only single value from all those values. So which data type I should select here?
Picklist.
Yes, correct. It's Picklist. Okay, so let's try to create a list type of field. Click on next. Okay, here I will have to give the field label, which is status. Okay, and once I have entered the status here, field name is automatically taken as status. It is the developer name or API name we can use. Okay, now here we have this values section. First one is use global picklist value set. Now this means that we can create a picklist value set. Let's say if there is any requirement for a picklist field which will have 100 values, okay, or let's say 150 values, and we are going to use that field in account object, contact object, and lead object, in 3 different objects. At that time, do you think that we'll have to create the field on each and every object and add values manually? Is it possible if we have to create such a field for 150 values?
No.
Right. Yes, it's correct. No, right? So Salesforce has given us the option to create picklist value set. Okay. So if we create a picklist value set, okay, we can add the let's say 100 or 150 values there. Now that particular picklist value set we have set. Now when we will create any field, let's say on a lead object or account object or contact object, that time what we can do is we can just simply use that global picklist value set. If we select this first option and click on the drop down, then you will be able to see all the global picklist value set which you have created. Okay, let's say state. So I have given the picklist value set name as state, and then we have added all the Indian states there. Okay, so I can select that picklist value set state here, and I can select it. Okay, so once I will select it, I will be able to create the field in an easy way, right? I will not have to like enter each values again and again for 3 different objects. Okay, so for that purpose we use global picklist value set. Now we are entering only 4 to 5 values over here, which I can easily manage. So for that I will use this second option, which is enter values and each value separated by new line, meaning that we have to enter values one by one, like this, A, B, C, D, something like that. Okay, which will be separated by a new line. So let's try to create, just copy and pasting this particular position value, which is new position, pending approval, open approve, closed field, closed not approve, and closed cancel. Okay, you can also display the values alphabetically. I don't want that. I want this in this, matter. Okay, now here we can enter the description and help text. Now description is different and help text is different. Description meaning that if we are entering any description, then let's say now you left the company and new system administrator has joined the company. Okay, and first thing what he or she will do, can anyone tell me? When you let's say join the new company, what you will do?
Go through all the details, like how they work and what are the things.
Right, exactly. So first thing which we will do is we will go through their organization, what objects they use, what type of fields are there, right? So this information we are going to see. So if the previous admin has given the description, then from the description we will be able to understand that why this particular field has created, why this particular object is needed, right? But if that particular system admin did not enter any description, then you won't be able to understand it, right? And probably you will take more time to understand it. So that's the reason always try to enter the description, and entering description is the best practice. Okay, Salesforce also suggests to enter the description for each and every field, object, and anything you are creating or customizing in Salesforce. Okay, so let's say now I am not entering because I mean this is my demo org, right? But when you will work on actual or when you will work in any organization, that time always keep in mind that to enter the description. Let's say that 50 fields are already created in the system. Okay, the previous admin has created. Now, as a new admin, there is a new requirement to create a different field, a custom field. Okay, and only you know why you are creating that field, and you are not entering any description. Then it will be problematic for the next admin who is going to work on that project. Okay, so always try to enter the description. Now I will leave it blank because this is my demo org, and once I'm going to create it, I'm not going to use it after this batch, because this particular demo org I have created only for this batch. Okay, now second is help text. Help text is something like that when you, let's say the end user is using this system, okay, and working on account contact object, let's say, and that particular user does not understand what this field means and what options they have to enter here. Okay, so help text is basically we use for giving the information about that field to the end users. For example, if I enter here, this field is
So basically, the help text is a kind of this is small informational text
right,
which is
right.
next to the field name, right?
Exactly, exactly. Or we can enter here as select status. Exactly like this. As you can see here, if I hover over on this eye, I will be able to see a small,
So
box
what is that about?
where, yeah, where we have like information. So exactly like the help text is same. This is also a help text. Okay, if I created that one, then what will happen is I will be able to see a small eye for this rating or for any of the object, and I will be hover over on that particular eye, and I will be able to see the information about it. Even we have eye here as well. See, as I have just hover on that eye, it says that this text displays on detail and edit page when user hover over the info icon next to this field. Exactly. Now this is the field exactly like this. They will be able to see the eye. Okay. So now let's say you are creating a new field, and your user does not have any idea about it, then you can add help text. It's actually not mandatory, but you can add it, otherwise you can later on also add it. Okay, then here we have this particular option which is required. So if we make this field as required, then this particular field will be universally
Mandatory field.
required. Yeah, universally required, or we can say mandatory field. Okay, so I don't want this field as required. And this one means we have enabled the allow reports setting for the position object, right? So now we are creating a new field. So when we create a report, that time if we have not added this field in the custom report type, we won't be able to see it. So that's the reason it is auto enabled. Okay, I am not going to uncheck this and just simply click on next. Okay, now the next page is for the field level security, meaning that we are creating the field which is status, okay, and which user will have access to that particular field. So by default, it is selected. If we want, we can uncheck all these checkboxes and only select for any particular profile if you want to give access to any particular profile. Okay, if you want to give the access to all the profile, then select this one. So if you have given only read only access, meaning that user will only be able to view that field but not edit that field. And if you give the visible access, okay, meaning that user will have read as well as edit access on that particular field. Okay, so as of now, I will select visible, click on next. Now, the next thing is to add that field in the page layout, meaning that we have a position object. Okay, let's try to create a new position. Now, as of now, if I click on new button, I can see only two fields. One is position name and second is owner. Okay. Now click on the save button. Now I have save this particular position. Now I can see created by and last modified by. Okay, now we are creating a new field called status. So as we are creating, we want to add this status field on this particular page, right? So that's the reason we have selected this checkbox, position layout. Click on save. Okay, now we have successfully created a field called status, and we have also added this field on the page layout. Let's refresh it and let's check. Okay, as you can see here, now we are able to access the status field as well. And if I click on edit pencil, okay, I'll have to check that why this is showing something like
I
that.
think it's read only field security.
No, I have selected as visible. Also, you can see the one major difference between standard and custom field is it is always, end with _ C. Okay, so in this way, you can check which fields are standard fields and which fields are custom fields. Okay, the fields which have field name as _ C, meaning that these fields are custom field. Now let's go to the field level security. It's visible, right? Visible means edit and save. It's also showing that it is editable. Maybe sometimes, it's because of cookies and cache, so it takes time. But have you understood how we can create a custom field in Salesforce?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are going to give you the assignment for creation of position object as well as the fields as well. You will have all the field labels, or name, and their data type as well. So try to create it, okay? And let me know if you have any issues while creating applications, objects, and fields. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Let me stop the screen sharing. Any questions on that for field creation?
I just have a small question. Like how when you created this object, there were few columns by default which were created also. Does that happen for the apps or any other things what you create on the system?
See, columns is only for objects, right? So if you are creating a custom object, that time these 4 fields Salesforce will create, because position name, it is something, which is mandatory, right? And while creating the object, we will give this position name. I mean, this field name. Then owner created by and last modified field will be created by Salesforce automatically. Now let's go to the details and click on edit here just to show you that here. As you can see, enter record name, label and format. Here we have given position name and data type as text, right? That is the reason this field has created position name. Salesforce has created this one, and this is mandatory. So these 4 fields will auto created by Salesforce whenever you will create a new custom object. Okay. Now application is something different. Application is to store all the tabs, logos. Okay. So there we don't have any option to create any fields, right? So that meaning that this will be only for objects, not for applications.
No, like I was just wondering, like if I want to know, say in a company, somebody created a particular app, like for some reason we want to check who created that. Would that be possible?
Okay, who created that application? Let me check. I'm not sure. Let me check. Okay. Okay, it only shows the last modified date, but not last. Oh, sorry, created by. And if I click on edit, no, I don't think so. We can view that. Who has created the application? This is only for object. So this created by last modified field is auto created by Salesforce in order to track the record who has created and last modified that particular record. Okay. No. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, okay. I thought I lost a connection.
No, you're good.
Okay. Any other question?
I have a question regarding this global pick list.
Mm-hmm.
When we create a global pick list, you said that we can use it in the different objects, right?
Right.
So it should be same field name when we want to use that pick list, global pick list field.
No, it's not mandatory actually. Field name can be different, but yeah, you can use the same field, pick list, global pick list, in like different objects.
It's not mandatory to be the same field name.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop the screen sharing. Any other question? Okay, I will consider it as no. All right, guys, then we will, provide you the assignment documentation. Devendra will share that document with you guys, and you can go through it, try to practice it in your demo org. And if you have any questions, issues, then we can discuss this in next session, okay, after the class.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, Amrapali,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amrapali. Devendra sir, do you have a few minutes